is an incident which has happened in Madhya Pradesh, in Ojen, and there is this strange video which shows a van suspended about 40 feet in the air, and it's suspended with a crane, some kind of a huge big crane, and there are explosives which are
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात।
वाओ मम्मा, क्या स्वाद है?
अरे मेरे राजा,
सबका राजा आग और मसाला, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
प्यास बुझाए, ठंडक लाए, सबको भाए जीरा से। MTH का जल जीरा, जीरा से।
जीरा से असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
MTH.
Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday I said that Bhagwant Mann's problem is that in the process of covering up one lie, he is lying a second time. So to cover two lies, he lies a third time and a fourth time. And now he's in a big trap. He is doing everything possible to save his job, but it's going to become more and more difficult for him. Plus, I think he has some very foolish advisors. You see, this controversy is about a younger Bhagwant Mann. He's about 52 years now, 52 or 53. And the video apparently goes back to the time he was 39 years old. This is a video he's released. Let me first show you the other video, the controversial video. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a picture of Bhagwant Mann at the age of 39. And visibly, over the last 13 years, he's aged. There's nothing wrong with that. We all age. But there's a distinct difference in facial appearance. I'd like to show you a picture of Bhagwant Mann at present, which is about 52.
Thank you for joining us on another edition of our Education College Rankings here on Republic. Now, as the NEET 2026 examination concludes, there are millions of students now entering the most crucial phase, predicting their scores and preparing for counseling. Now, this episode today helps aspirants understand how their expected marks can translate into probable ranks and college options using intelligent prediction tools. Experts today joining us on the show will decode the admission process, counseling strategy, and key factors that students should consider before the results are announced, enabling them to stay one step ahead. On the show today, Professor Renu Luthra. She's an advisor and president at the iOS Development Center at the Galgotias University. Also joining us in the studios today is Anurag Priyadarshan, who's the head of product and content at collegedunia.com. Joining us virtually are Dr. Sneh Agarwal. She's Director, Professor and Head of Anatomy Department at LHMC, that is Lady Hardinge Medical College, and Dr. Parthiv Sanghvi, who's a former President, Indian Medical Association. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on the show. Let me get started with Anurag, with you. What is College Predictor, the NEET Predictor? Why don't you start by telling our viewers, what is the NEET Predictor and how does it help students?
Sure. Thanks, Niranjan, first of all, for having me here. As you told, the NEET exams are over, right? So the next obvious step is there are two kinds of students. One who already have a kind of somewhat idea how much they'll be scoring. Second is people who don't have an idea of how their exam went. So for the second category of students, where they don't know how the exam went, the committee will release an answer key, the OMR key. Now, we have a tool which is called College Dunia's NEET score calculator. Mm-hmm. In that, all you need to do is just upload the OMR answer key, which the official authorities have provided to you. And within seconds, it tells you your predicted score, right? Mm-hmm. Once you have an idea of that predicted score, you log into another tool, another very powerful tool which we have, which is the rank predictor. Mm-hmm. It tells you, based on this score, what is the probable rank you will be getting. Mm-hmm. And once you have got a rank, now you need to make a list of colleges where you should be applying, right? Based on the cutoff. For that, we have College Dunia's NEET College Predictor. So you log into the NEET Predictor, you enter your rank or your score, and a list of colleges pops up, right? Where based on previous year cutoffs, probably you have a very realistic chance of getting the admission.
Yeah.
So if you combine all these three tools, I think it's a whole package for every NEET aspirant going ahead to plan their journey.
Just give me an idea of how many students come on your platform each year to use this NEET predictor.
They are in millions. I mean, if you give a number, let's say around 22 lakh students appeared for NEET.
Yeah.
Every year for every season, we have close to 3 to 4 lakhs students who actually use the predictor. And these are the students who are actually serious about their career.
Professor Renu Luthra, what's the role of the faculty in handling mental health issues of students on campus?
That's a very, very important question. You see, faculty work for months with students. They're in the classroom weeks on end, daily in fact. And they're the first persons who can notice the subtle differences, the subtle changes or the signals that throw up. For example, a student who's normally sitting in the front rows, he starts moving backwards, he goes there, he doesn't turn in his assignments on time, is absent, is irritable or is sad. Now, what happens is that the faculty sometimes they ignore, or sometimes, they do call the students, wherein they find that there is an issue. Yeah. Now, the problem, what happens here is the faculty cannot counsel, they're not trained to counsel. Since there is that little stigma around it, they hesitate to ask directly. So what we did, and which is a very important thing, we did the QPR training, Question, Persuade, Refer. QPR is an institute in Washington which deals with suicide prevention, education and training, and its programs are sought after all over the world. So recently we did that for our faculty, and just about every faculty who attended said that during their career, at some point or the other, they came across a student who was distressed, emotionally distressed. Yeah. And what was one very, very important takeaway, which I would love to share with the audiences, that what they learned was they're not counselors, they don't do therapy, but they are encouraged to ask direct questions. Are you feeling disturbed? Are you distressed? Because silence is more harmful than the question. Yeah. And after that, after questioning and getting an answer that possibly he is, then persuade them and refer them. So that I feel is very, very important for any university or college to do. Get training, get the faculty trained, not to convert them into therapists or counselors, but to ask the right questions, to probe, to be direct, and then refer the student to the center. Secondly, every university has, proctorial boards, disciplinary committee. Do you know, it's amazing a number of mental health issues that come to the students who have to appear before the disciplinary committee. They come disguised as disciplinary problems. It's actually the student needs help. And it converts itself into disciplinary problem. So we work very closely with the Center for Mental Health, works closely with the proctorial office. When the proctorial office this is a case of indiscipline, but the student looks disturbed. Before we start with the disciplinary process, let's get him to the center. And believe me, so many problems have been resolved just because of that.
Yeah. Let me go across to Dr. Sneha Agarwal now. Dr. Sneha Agarwal, NEET examinations are over. Now, what advice would you give students as they wait for their results and begin preparing for the counseling process?
I think they have an idea of how much they're going to score, so they should be ready for the result and be brave enough to accept it as it is. And then they should start looking for the colleges, institutions where they would like to join and apply, and which could be appropriate for the rank which they get in the result. So now is the time to relax, wait for the result, and then be ready with the homework. Okay.
Dr. Parthiv, choosing a medical college, and I think it all comes down to that. It all boils down to that. That is why they really try hard to, get that best score. Yes. One of the biggest decisions in a student's life, Dr. Parthiv. Beyond the NEET score and cutoffs, what should aspirants look for to ensure that they choose the right institute?
They need to now, after touring a lot in the state of Maharashtra, seeing the infrastructure, with the number of colleges which are mushrooming up, it is not necessary that every medical college is well equipped with every department. So I think students should be, aware of what they are going to choose. So I strongly feel that based on your marks, when you know that, what shortlisted colleges would you be targeting to in your state. Usually students do that in their own state. They don't go out of their state. So they should be very well aware of before taking their choices, which is a good medical college, which is having better infrastructure, and just not go by the fact that it's a government medical college or a corporation-based medical college, because they too have their own follies. So I feel they should visit the colleges which they feel that they would be eligible for before making a very calculated choice in the counseling rounds.
Yeah. Dr. Renu, the wait now is for the counseling. The wait is now to choose an institute. And I want to come to you on a very important question, and we were talking about this earlier. This year has been especially traumatic for students, right? And what can universities do to prepare students for a year like this when there is so much of uncertainty around the futures of these students?
The universities have to be very, very sensitive. And the first and foremost thing that universities can do and higher educational institutions can do is to have a good, robust ecosystem for healthcare. Now, in our university, at Galgotia's University, we set up the Galgotia Center for Healthcare. But when we did that, we knew that this is an area where trust was required. We had to have credibility. So that was not our core, healthcare was not our core competence. So we reached out to partners, very important partners, very influential partners like AIMS, HCL. And with AIMS, we associated ourselves, we procured their Never Alone app, which is a mobile-based app for students. It's a 24-hour helpline that is there, with which they can interact with AIMS experts as well as our counselors. Now, you have to be very sensitive to the learning style of the students. And the way the students learn today is social media, watching videos, reels. So we decided, getting the app was the easy part. The tougher part was disseminating information about it, telling them that you need help and when you need help. So every week we shoot reels, short videos which we send to the students on any topical issue, whether it is de-addiction, drugs, or relationships. That's a big issue here. And what are the myths about mental health? What are the facts? And we get a lot of response to the students because they keep receiving this information. Now, and again, we have a students club at our university called Kafila. So peer learning is one of the finest and fastest ways that we can spread the message. There is help available. There's an in-house professional psychiatrist. There are psychologists. There are clinical psychologists, all on our roll, in addition to what AIMS and HCL give us. Yeah. So along with that, we get a lot of experts coming in to join the students. We have conversation. Students do nukkad nataks in the university on these themes. And that attracts crowds and it disseminates the information.
Dr. Sneha Agarwal, is that also something that you've seen? Because you interface with students, you work at, you're a practicing professional.
Yeah.
Do you see, is there a pattern now with more and more students, seeking help, coming forward? Because there is one pressure to get into so-called top medical colleges, and then there is,
Actually,
what defines a good medical institute? Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
They've been studying a lot and studying very hard for the last maybe 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, or even more. And sometimes I have seen children who have problems are more because they were under a lot of parental pressure.
Yeah.
Parental pressure to appear, be a doctor, succeed, get admission into a good college. So it should be from students' own motivation that they should seek to study and seek the admission in a particular college. Otherwise, these issues arise only in those conditions. If the student himself or herself is motivated enough to become a doctor, then it's all a child's play. Like, study is no problem. They adjust well in the college and they do well throughout the course, which is 5.5 years. But only when there is some, alteration, or if there's a lot of parental pressure initially in the school time or at the admission time, then they do undergo some pressure in the college, and they may, they're more susceptible to developing any of these habits which you're talking about. But it's not so much. I think it's more of making it, awareness is there, and a lot of, people are catching it up on it.
And I'm being anecdotal here, Dr. Parthiv, because, my parents were engineers, both of them, and they expected me to do engineering. The expectation is, if you're an engineer, your son should also be an engineer, right? and I chose not to do engineering, right? And it comes with a lot of pressure. But for many people, that pressure is there. Now, in your view, do you have, I mean, what have you observed? Because you've been an IMA, you've been the IMA president. I'm sure you've worked with doctors all your life. How many of them are pushed into the profession?
So the number of people who are now who are pushing their kids are pretty less. It is more seen, I would say, in tier 2 cities, or where there is this pattern that if the parents are having hospitals, then the child feels that yes, I have to come to this level. But if you go to metropolitan cities, etc., where having your own hospital is a rarity, well, this pressure is not there. And so many of my colleagues who are here, who are very well established in their medical practice, do not have their children in the medical profession, including mine. Both my kids are not into my profession. So I think now it is what you want to do. Yes, it is important to live a good livelihood, no doubt about it. But at the same time, you should be confident of what you are doing. If you are taking up medicine as a profession, then it requires a lifelong dedication. You never stop learning.
Yeah.
I mean, till you are working, you are learning, you have to be updated. You have to constantly learn new things, new techniques, new systems, new machines and everything, and learning never stops.
Yeah.
So I think one should be very well prepared for the eventuality, because a medical student takes entry into medical college at the age of 18, where he's probably not very much aware of what is there later on. So we've also seen several burnouts, people, shifting professions. Even today, we are seeing a lot of exodus of doctors who are, after their graduation, post-graduation, quitting medicine, going into the industry, say for example, the pharma industry, and doing very well. So some people take up law, some people take up pharmacy, even after their graduation and post-graduation. So ultimately, you have to determine what is your calling. You should be sincere enough for that. And you should be ready that what you're going to take up now is going to define at least 50 years of your life henceforth.
No, absolutely. I think that's a very valid point and very beautifully put. Let me take it to Anurag now. Anurag, how does a student, for example, you have a platform called collegedunia.com. When students come to collegedunia.com, how do you help them sift through the many colleges? I'm sure there are thousands of them today. Right? How do you rank these institutes, and how do you help students make that choice easier?
Right. So as I already told you, we had 3 tools. I mean, we currently have those 3 tools, which obviously help you select the colleges. Now, the real game begins once you have got a list of colleges, right?
Yeah.
I think every student has a curated list of 10 to 15 colleges where he should be applying to, which people target usually. Once you have got an idea of the colleges, the next part is doing a thorough research on them.
Yes.
And for that, reviews help a lot.
Yes.
It's humanly not possible for every student to call the college, to call the seniors. People don't have that level of contact, right?
Yeah.
So it's a very, practical thing to just read the review and understand how is the college doing. One thing which all the students should look at it, if they're selecting a college, is how good is the hospital which is associated to the medical college, right?
Yeah.
What is the how many number of beds they have? What is the OPD patient count?
Yeah.
So these things actually help you practice better, So in the long run, it will help if you choose a college which has a very good hospital associated with it.
Professor Renu Luthra, I want to ask you, there is also, Dr. Parthiv Sanghvi spoke of a trend that he's seeing of students dropping out midway through the program, right? How do you identify such students? Is it possible to identify, let's say, risk students, students in emotional distress? Is there any parameter where you counsel students before they get into such a profession, before they take this big step?
Unfortunately, in India, we still don't have enough counseling. The stress on career counseling, it's there, but it's not enough. Students just go in hordes wherever direction everybody is going. Yes. So that we would be requiring a lot of external counseling agencies. The schools also, though they have it, but I find it not very effective in many of them. So what universities like ours can do, that build this counseling process into our admission process. Students who have appeared for competitive examinations during the time where they're anxiously waiting for their results, they often go make the rounds of colleges, maybe accompanied by their friends, and examine what are the options available. That's the time we have an entire cell dedicated to counseling such students. There's no pressure on them to take admission. The only thing that we offer is, why don't you visit the campus? Why don't you just go to wherever you want, departments, laboratories, School of Media, journalism? And they introduce them to the deans, the departments. They're free to talk to the students, what are the opportunities. So it's a kind of an approach wherein you tell them, fine, you've opted for the NEET entrance exam or anything else, but these are also options you can consider.
Dr. Sneha Agarwal, as an experienced medical educator, I'd like to get your thoughts on and your message to NEET aspirants who may be anxious about their results and uncertain about which college that they eventually join. Would you like to say something to them?
Yeah, at the beginning, I would like to say that at least in Delhi, all the good schools have a career counseling option available in their schools itself. So right in standard 11, when they start, they have exposure to choose their field of interest. So those who have appeared for NEET, National Eligibility Cum Entrance Test, are already motivated, except for maybe 5% of the students at the most. The rest are motivated enough to enter into any medical college of their choice and pursue their MBBS course or any other allied like Ayurvedic, Homeopathic, Unani. All these are through NEET rank and marks only. So after once they enter, they have to select their college and all. And in that also, I've observed that students who are staying close to their hometowns, close to their residences, they do better because that cultural shift and change is not there. So it's easier for them to understand. They can talk to the patients also during the course of their studies, and they can relate to the situation and the patient. The communication is much better in that case. Suppose from north to south or south to north, a little bit difference is there, and there's a little problem in the students because they have to learn the language, the local customs, culture, all that. So if they're closer to their home, it's better. They do better. That's what I have, observed.
Dr. Parthiv, does India have enough doctors, or India has lesser doctors, or does India have more doctors? What's the situation in your view?
So, see, the present scenario with the mushrooming of medical colleges which has now happened, the doctor-patient ratio in India is much better. It is much less than 1:700 per population. And I think we have reached a good ratio now. So there is no dearth of doctors. Yes, there may be a small urban-rural divide. But unfortunately, what is happening is that the rural-urban divide is also because of lack of facilities. As a surgeon myself, if I'm put in a small town where the adequate facilities are not there, I will not be able to perform. So why are people hesitant to go to smaller places? Because the required facilities, the infrastructure at times is not there. So what we need is, like what has been planned, at least in my state of Maharashtra, that every district should have one district level hospital. If that is there, then the exodus to go to bigger cities, bigger towns for medical treatment will go down. That will somehow, make even a ground where healthcare facilities can be better distributed, better given, and patient care can be taken and not concentrating into one hospital all the time. So I think the need of the hour at this point of time is more number of hospitals, district level hospitals, which are well equipped with all the basic facilities which are required, where specialists and super specialists can function. Otherwise, if you take a cardiothoracic surgeon and you put him in a small town, what is he going to do when there are no basic facilities available? So the need of the hour is better district level hospitals, and then you do not, people will be motivated to go back to their own districts and not stay in tertiary centers.
So I'd like to end this show by asking each of you for if you wanted to change how medical infrastructure and medicine is both studied and then practiced in India, what would that be? Dr. Parthiv Sangvi, I'll start with you.
I would start at the primary healthcare center level.
empower the primary healthcare center level with the necessary facilities and the district level hospitals with all the facilities which can be given. We just need to improve our basic healthcare in the rural sector and your work is done.
Dr. Sneha Agarwal.
Better infrastructure, better provisions and better facilities, of course, and enough adequate staff for that catchment area of that particular area. You know, medicines and all aside, the workers, right, starting from safai walas, technical staff, pharmacists, nurses, doctors, all the staff should be enough.
Professor Renu Luthra.
They had about 800 medical colleges. I think, sorry, Anurag, you said that. I think we need many more. And it's the private sector which can come in and contribute. A private sector is going to ensure, and the private sector is willing. It's just that, the policies have to be more encouraging. Yeah. They're willing to invest, and just the way some very fine private educational institutions have come up, similarly, some very good private colleges, more medical colleges can come up even more. Yeah. And that can fill in that gap there.
Yeah. So like I said, Anurag, final word to you. So where would you start?
I'm just to answer Renu ma'am. So we have 850 MBBS colleges.
Got it.
There are a lot more medical colleges, right?
Yeah.
So I would say we should not just focus on MBBS colleges from the government's point of view. We should have more investment in allied healthcare.
Yeah.
Because they are actually the people who are working on the ground, right? So if you have a problem with the hospital, it's not just always the management which is responsible.
Yeah.
So at times the negligence comes from the ground level.
Okay.
So more investment in allied courses could be one of the options. Mm-hmm. And I would not add, purely from institute point of view, I would say I don't completely agree that we don't have shortage of doctors. Obviously, we need to have more colleges.
Yeah.
But that onus lies with the private body as well. So it's not always the government which is going to, keep on increasing the number of colleges.
Just one word I'll want from you. So how many students this year took the examinations, and what kind of traffic are you seeing on collegedunia.com on the NEET predictor?
Once the results are out, we are hoping a very good traffic on NEET college predictors.
Yeah.
Even during the exam, we had a lot of traffic on question papers. So we have a different section for all the question papers, all the answer key. We are probably one of the fastest in India to upload the answers for all those sets.
Thank you, Anurag. Thank you, Professor Renu Luthra. Thank you, Dr. Sneha Agarwal and Dr. Parthiv Sanghvi. Good to have you with us once more. Thank you, sir.
प्यास बुझाए ठंडक लाए सबको भाए जीरा से MTH का जल जीरा जीरा से
जीरा से असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
MTH
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच, लस्सी और छाछ
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट। अब बताओ, स्वाद आया? आया।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
By the way, viewers, I'm driving in Delhi with Delhi wala boy Aman Gupta, who is too busy waving to his fans than talking to me. Please come down to earth, Aman.
Yes, I am sorry.
You're on my show. This is not your show. This is my show. Stop waving to your fans. Be modest. Now everybody look. अरे आप politician हो. आप politician हो. आप ये क्या कर रहे हो? This is too much. आपने बोला humble हो, मैं humble हो रहा हूँ.
You became very famous during Balika Badhu.
At that time, there was a huge amount of fame and focus, right?
There was.
People must be writing about you. The paparazzi would have written about you.
There were no paparazzis at that time.
You're not that old.
No, I mean it. There were no paparazzi.
You were no paparazzi at that time.
There were no paparazzis.
This has happened now? There was no Viral Bayani then?
Back then, it was just,
What do you mean back then? If you keep talking, I'm over a decade older to you. If you keep saying back then I'll stop driving the car here.
No, I'm sorry. I don't mean...
What am I then? Back then. Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday I said that Bhagwant Mann's problem is that in the process of covering up one lie, he is lying a second time. So to cover two lies, he lies a third time and a fourth time. And now he's in a big trap. He is doing everything possible to save his job. But it's going to become more and more difficult for him. Plus, I think he has some very foolish advisors. You see, this controversy is about a younger Bhagwant Mann. He's about 52 years now, 52 or 53. And the video apparently goes back to the time he was 39 years old. This is a video he's released. Let me first show you the other video, the controversial video. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a picture of Bhagwant Mann at the age of 39. And visibly, over the last 13 years, he's aged. There's nothing wrong with that. We all age. But there's a distinct difference in facial appearance. I'd like to show you a picture of Bhagwant Mann at present, which is about 52, 53 years old. And Bhagwant Mann on the other side at the age of 39, when he was a performer. Well, he is still a performer in a way. But there's a distinct physical difference. A, he's put on a lot of weight. His face is much more puffy. He's older. He's wearing a turban. He was not wearing a turban at that time. Not always, at least. Not always photographed with a turban. And so there's a distinct difference. So if you see the picture of the younger Bhagwant Mann, you'd actually...
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
A very good afternoon, viewers. You're watching Republic. I'm Chongtham Amrita, and in the latest that we're tracking for you on the donation theft case in Ram Mandir controversy, 5 accused have been sent to jail and interrogations are being carried out by the police. We're tracking all of these details for you and more, but first, let's take a look at the headlines. Civic apathy claims another life in Mumbai. 63-year-old killed after tree falls on shop amid heavy rains. Total shutdown at POK's Muzaffarnagar, markets closed, and Muzaffarabad markets have been closed, roads deserted amid protests against Pakistan's army and civilian government. Government issues stern notice to Meta on child sexual exploitative and abuse material in paid ads on Instagram. Detailed explanation demanded in 7 days. Vishwa Hindu Parishad asks police to investigate claims by opposition leaders on Ram Mandir donation theft. Ayodhya police interrogates 5 accused inside the jail. Anti-terror operation underway in J&K's Shopian after 2 terrorists were spotted in the Mimandar area comprising of 7 villages. Viewers, we begin this bulletin with a major story coming in from the Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Now, massive sit-in protests are underway in the Pakistan-occupied Kashmir against the Pakistan Army and the government as well. Now, viewers, this comes after the JAEC issued calls for a shutdown across the region today in Muzaffarabad, stating that there will be no further talks with Islamabad. This is again another sign of a drastic rejection of the Pakistan's authority and its army. And now several protests have also been carried out across the region, especially in Rawalkot area, where a massive sit-in protests have been carried out. And now the JAAC have also stated that there will be no talks with Islamabad on any regard, and also called for a total shutdown. These are visuals of a total shutdown being observed by the region, where several shops have been closed, and we can see the road bearing a deserted look. There are no traffic at all, as these visuals say, and these are some of the visuals of the massive shutdown that have been called by the JAAC in the POK region against the Pakistani army and the authority. And viewers, with this regard, let's listen in to what the protesters are saying as the Pakistan massacre continues in the POK region.
मुझे लगता है शर्म आनी चाहिए ऐसे लोगों को कि शांति कहाँ चाहिए और पाकिस्तान की दरिंदगी किन लोगों पे, निहत्थे लोगों पे हमला करके उनको ज़मींदोज़ कर रही है। और वो लोग कौन है? क्या वो मुसलमान नहीं है? पीओजे के रहने वाला? तो फिर हमदर्दी आपकी गाज़ा वालों के साथ क्यों है? वहाँ के रिश्तेदारी पाल रखी है क्या? ये मुझे लगता है कि बड़े संकेत दिखते हैं कि कश्मीर सेंट्रिक पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज के लोगों की राजनीति क्या कहती है। भारत भी कहता है पीओजे के लोगों को एक अच्छी जिंदगी जीने का हक है, हालांकि वो हमारा इलाका है, उसको वापस लाने के लिए जब तैयारी होगी उसको रोक नहीं पाएगा। लेकिन आज जो पाकिस्तान की हालत, जो पाकिस्तान ने पीओजे के लोगों की हालत कर दी है, जिंदा लोगों के ऊपर गोलियां चलानी और उनको मौत के घाट उतारना, इसकी कड़ी से कड़ी निंदा होनी।
Well, that was the statement that was given by the BJP leader in Jammu, and that strong reactions coming in against the atrocities that was committed to the protesters in POK region. Now, viewers, let us shift our focus and listen to the statement that's coming in from one of the protesters in the protest that had been being held in the POK region. Let's take a look.
तो उसकी आवाज पहुंचाओ कि 5 जुलाई की बर्मिंघम तो लेकर लंदन तक कोई जगह बचा ना जिसे कश्मीरी नजर ना अच्छा है। ये बात याद रखे और दुनिया की अभाव कि मेरे रियासत जम्मू और कश्मीर ने जमीन ने अंदरू अरबा डॉलर रुपया निकली के चढ़ा पे और चढ़े खाने पे और आज गोलियां मारने थे आए हुए। मेरे कश्मीरी जाओ उन्हें रोडा पर जाई गए भाव कि मेरा नीलम और रूबी जैसा पत्थर अरबा डॉलर ना बिकी रहा तो चढ़े खाई रहे और गोलियां मारने तो आई रहे। जाओ लंदन के अंदर ओवरसीज और बाहर दुनिया की कि मेरी कब्रों पर पानी है, मेरे अभाव जिदा कब्रों पर पानी है और जिन्ना वास्ता पानी लाया गया आज ही दहशतगर्द की क्या सबकी गोलियां मारी रहे दुनिया की भाव।
And to help us understand this matter more, I'm joined by my colleague Gursimran, who has more details in this. Gursimran, we're seeing a total shutdown being carried out in Muzaffarabad area and other areas as well. Roads bearing a deserted look after the shutdown has been called out. This again as against the Pakistani army and the authorities, and the JAAC also saying that there will be no further talks with Islamabad. Help us understand the situation even more for our viewers.
See, these deserted looks that the roads of Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir are bearing are a slap on the face of Pakistani establishment, be it the POJK government or the federal government of Pakistan, that tried their level best that there is no shutdown on 5th of July. They made it every possible move to ensure that the people come to their daily course, but the people of POJK have given a strong and a stern message to the Pakistan establishment that they stand firm with the group that they call, the Pakistanis call, a terror group, that is Joint Awami Action Committee. And this Bandh, the deserted looks, the Bandh that is completely seen on the roads, starting from the Muzaffarabad to Poonch to Rawalkot. Every single road in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir is observing a shutdown, which clearly means that the people stand firm for the cause. And this time Pakistan is rattled for the reason that the people are not only demanding the basic rights, including the subsidized electricity, subsidized ration, but also their democratic rights. That is the 12 members that have to be elected to the Pakistani occupied Jammu and Kashmir National Assembly, they should not be from the mainland Pakistan, because Pakistan has been using these people, 12 people, which the people of POJK call the puppets of the Pakistani establishment, to derail the governments, to actually implement their decisions onto the people of POJK. So against these, all people of the Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir are on the streets. Today is the 30th day, and for the last 30 days, POJK people have shown what actually it means for them to get these rights, how important these rights have. More than a dozen people have been killed. Many of their senior leaders, including Shaukat Nawaz Mir, they have been put behind the bars. But JAC has made it amply clear that this time it is not going to matter whether their top leadership is on the streets or not. They say that we have first, second, third and fourth line of leadership already in place. So in case the Pakistan continues their crackdown and arrest their top leadership or kills them, they are ready with a plan that they will go indefinitely onto the strike, so as to ensure that this time they get their democratic rights back.
That's right, and major developments unfolding. We'll continue to track this story. Thank you so much for joining us on this broadcast, Gursimran. And now, viewers, my colleague Gursimran also spoke to the BJP MLA Vikram Randhawa on the Pakistani Army's atrocities in the POK region, where he slammed the NC-PDP silence, calling it shameful. Let's listen to his reaction.
मुझे लगता है शर्म आनी चाहिए ऐसे लोगों को कि शांति कहाँ चाहिए और पाकिस्तान की दरिंदगी किन लोगों पे, निहत्थे लोगों पे हमला करके उनको ज़मींदोज़ कर रही है। और वो लोग कौन है? क्या वो मुसलमान नहीं है पीओजेके के रहने वाला? तो फिर हमदर्दी आपकी गाज़ा वालों के साथ क्यों है? वहाँ के रिश्तेदारी पाल रखी है क्या? ये मुझे लगता है कि बड़े संकेत दिखते हैं कि कश्मीर सेंट्रिक पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज़ के लोगों की राजनीति क्या कहती है। भारत भी कहता है पीओजे के लोगों को एक अच्छी जिंदगी जीने का हक है, हालांकि वो हमारा इलाका है, उसको वापस लाने के लिए जब तैयारी होगी उसको कोई रोक नहीं पाएगा। लेकिन आज जो पाकिस्तान की हालत, जो पाकिस्तान ने पीओजे के लोगों की हालत कर दी है, जिंदा लोगों के ऊपर गोलियां चलानी और उनको मौत के घाट उतारना, इसकी कड़ी से कड़ी निंदा होनी चाहिए।
And viewers, moving on now to Ayodhya as the probe in the Ram Mandir donation case continues. VHP International President and Senior Advocate Alok Kumar wrote a letter to Ayodhya DSP Ashutosh Tiwari over the statements of several political leaders, including Arvind Kejriwal, Ram Gopal Yadav, Sanjay Singh, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, on the alleged Ram Mandir donation embezzlement case. Now, Alok Kumar also requested Ayodhya DSP to record their statements, seek the factual basis on this and the source of their allegations, and support documents for these allegations as well. This is the latest in the Ram Mandir donation case. As it continues, 5 accused are being arrested in the jail as we speak. And now the VHP International President and Senior Advocate Alok Kumar has written a letter to the Ayodhya DSP and has sought the statements of several political leaders, including Arvind Kejriwal, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra as well, including Sanjay Singh as well. And they ask for the embezzlement case to record their statements and seek factual basis on this. And now, viewers, let us take a look at some of the reactions coming in from the Aam Aadmi Party MP Sanjay Singh.
कि राम के काम में भी भेदभाव। निपेंद्र मिश्रा जी ने कहा चोरी नहीं डकैती हुई है, उनका नाम नोटिस में क्यों नहीं है? महिपाल सिंह जो विश्व हिंदू परिषद और आरएसएस के कार्यकर्ता हैं, जिन्होंने बताया कि हमारे सामने चढ़ावे में चोरी हुई और हमने इसकी सूचना चंपत राय और उनके सहयोगी गोपाल राव को दी, उनका नाम इस नोटिस में क्यों नहीं है? विनय कटियार जो कह रहे हैं वहां चोरी हो रही है, बेईमानी हो रही है, उनका नाम नोटिस में क्यों नहीं है? क्यों नहीं है? रजनीश सिंह जिस व्यक्ति ने, जो भारतीय जनता पार्टी का पूर्व मीडिया प्रभारी है, जिसने सबसे पहले पत्र लिखा इस पूरे मामले में, चढ़ावे चोरी के मामले में, उनका नाम क्यों नहीं है? स्वामी और मुक्तेश्वरानंद जी, शंकराचार्य जी ने भी बयान दिया है, उनसे भी साक्ष्य उनके पास भी जो है वो भी दे, बताइए ना। वहां के संत महात्मा धर्मदास जी, उनका नाम क्यों नहीं है? महंत धर्मदास जी का नाम क्यों नहीं है? इसका मतलब ये विश्व हिंदू परिषद की जो चिट्ठी है ये राजनीति से प्रेरित है। लेकिन फिर भी उन्होंने लिखा है, तो जब भी वहां का आईओ मुझे बुलाएगा, मैं तो 5 साल से इंतजार कर रहा हूं। 2021 में भी मैंने शिकायत की थी, तहरीर दी थी, 2021 में भी तहरीर दी थी मैंने कि भैया वहां भ्रष्टाचार हो रहा है, इसकी जांच कर लो। 2 करोड़ की जमीन 18.5 करोड़ में खरीदी उसी दिन कुछ मिनट के बाद। तब आलोक कुमार जी नहीं जागे, तब आलोक कुमार जी ने कोई साक्ष्य नहीं मांगा, क्योंकि वो सारे साक्ष्य जो है मैंने फिर एसआईटी को जाके दे दिया। 5 साल कोई कार्रवाई नहीं की, ये लोग कुछ नहीं बोले। तो अभी इतने सारे लोग, ट्रस्ट का खुद का व्यक्ति भाई, ट्रस्ट के अध्यक्ष नित्य गोपाल दास जी के उत्तराधिकारी कमल नयन दास जी कह रहे हैं ये लोग चोर हैं, बेईमान हैं, उनके बयान हैं। उनको नोटिस भेजा आलोक कुमार जी ने, कहीं देखा हो तो आप दिखाइए। तो इसलिए कि हम किसी राजनीतिक दल से जुड़े हुए हैं, आम आदमी पार्टी से जुड़े हुए हैं, इसलिए हम इनको पत्र लिख के हवाई दिखाएंगे कि देखिए साहब हम कितने बहादुर हैं। कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, आपने पत्र भेजा है। मैं सुबह से सैकड़ों लोगों से बात कर चुका, सुबह से मैं लगातार फोन पे हूं, अपनी टीम को भी मैंने लगा दिया है। जो साक्ष्य आपके पास हैं चलिए, अब हो सकता है आईओ बुला लेगा, सबको ले चल के जाके वहां बताएंगे किससे कितना पैसा लिया था, कितना चांदी लिया था, कितना सोना लिया था, किसको किसको रसीद नहीं मिली। हमने बात कर ली है सब लोगों से।
And now viewers, let us also take a look at this ground report that was filed by my colleague from outside of Ayodhya District Jail, where the Ayodhya Circle Officer Ashutosh Tiwari is currently interrogating the 5 accused.
अयोध्या जिला कारागृह में इस वक्त जो सीओ हैं वो पहुंचे हैं। साफ तौर पर ये टीम जो है यहाँ पर आई है पूछताछ के लिए। 5 आरोपी जो चंदा चोरी के मामले में जेल के अंदर है, उनसे पूछताछ हो रही है। आपको बता दें इससे पहले अविनाश शुक्ला से पूछताछ हुई थी, उसके बाद उसकी पीसीआर ली गई थी, और अब साफ तौर पर ये देखिए जो 5 आरोपी अन्य हैं उनसे जो पूछताछ है वो की जाएगी। इसी के चलते आज जो यहाँ पे टीम है वो यहाँ पर पहुंची है। साफ आपको बता दें कि अनुकल्प मिश्रा, लवकुश मिश्रा, रामशंकर यादव, टिन्नू, करुणेश पांडे, मनीष यादव, इन 5 से पूछताछ होगी। उसके बाद एक एक करके इनकी जो पीसीआर है वो भी पुलिस लेगी। लेकिन साफ तौर पर जिला कारागार अयोध्या में जो अयोध्या की पुलिस की टीम है वो पहुंच गई, खुद सीओ जो है वो पहुंचे हैं, और उसके साथ ही अंदर अब जो पूछताछ है वो की जाएगी। चूंकि इस पूरे मामले से जुड़े कई ऐसे अहम साक्ष्य थे जो कि अविनाश शुक्ला की पीसीआर के दौरान उसने बताए, जिसकी निशानदेही पर अब जो टीम है वो यहाँ पहुंची है, और अंदर लगातार उससे जो पूछताछ है वो की जाएगी। 5 आरोपियों को आमने सामने बैठाकर उनका आमना सामना कराया जाएगा, उनसे पूछताछ की जाएगी। इसके बाद ही इस पूरे केस में, क्योंकि एक के बाद एक लगातार जो डेवलपमेंट है वो देखने को मिल रहा है।
And viewers, Republic was also outside the residence of one of the main accused, Tinu Yadav, and the latest development on that, let's listen into this walk through the ground report that was filed by my colleague as well.
राम मंदिर चंदा चोरी को लेकर जांच का दौर एक तरफ लगातार जारी है। कुछ आरोपियों की गिरफ्तारी हुई है, उनसे पूछताछ भी लगातार हो रही है, और उन्हीं आरोपियों में से एक आरोपी के घर के पास दरअसल हम अभी पहुंच चुके हैं। आपको तस्वीरों के जरिए दिखाते हैं, थोड़ा नज़दीक लाएंगे तो आपको और ज़्यादा क्लियर हो पाएगा। ये जो टाइल वाला मकान दिख रहा है आपको, जहाँ पर नीले रंग की ग्रिल्स लगी हुई है, दरअसल यही वो मकान है जहाँ पर टिन्नू यादव और उनका परिवार रहा करता था। देखने में आपको बहुत ज़्यादा बड़ा, बहुत ज़्यादा आलीशान मकान ये नहीं लगने वाला है, लेकिन जानकारियां जिस तरह से निकलकर सामने आ रही है तो उन जानकारियों के मुताबिक कहा यह जा रहा है कि रियल एस्टेट में बड़ा इन्वेस्ट उनकी तरफ से किया गया था। टिन्नू यादव दरअसल वो है जो चंपत राय के बेहद करीबी माना जाते थे। टिन्नू यादव वो हैं जो एक वक्त पे रिक्शा ऑटो चलाया करते थे, और दूसरे वक्त में ट्रस्ट के साथ जब वो जुड़े तो फिर उसके बाद उनकी स्थिति और बेहतर होने लगी। हालांकि यहाँ पर आसपास लोगों से बात करने की हमने कोशिश की, कैमरे पर नहीं बोलना चाहते हैं कुछ, लेकिन जानकारियाँ ज़रूर दी है। बात उनके कहने का मतलब ये है कि बिहेवियर अच्छा था, रहन सहन अच्छा था, और उनका कहना यह है कि चेंजेस आए थे। अब देखिए क्या गाड़ियां उन्होंने नई खरीदी या फिर पहले से उनके पास कौन सी थी, उसको लेकर लोग अभी बोलना नहीं चाह रहे हैं, कुछ बचना चाह रहे हैं, लेकिन उनका कहना यह है कि बिहेवियर फ्रेंडली था और स्टैंडर्ड अच्छा था, सही स्टैंडर्ड के साथ रहते थे। इसके अलावा ये एक मकान देख लीजिए आप, ये मकान जो है ये मनीष यादव का मकान है। ही इज़ ऑल्सो वन ऑफ द आरोपी, वो भी एक आरोपी हैं इस पूरे मैटर में। आज इन लोगों से जाँच भी की जानी है और लगातार पूछताछ का दौर जारी ही रहने वाला है। ये वही मोहल्ला है, इस मोहल्ले में जब आप अंदर आएंगे मेन रोड से समय लगेगा काफ़ी आने में, आपको अंदर तक गाड़ी भी नहीं आएगी, इस तरह की गली है। इस तरह